Ladies and gentlemen, after quite some time, due to busy schedules and whatnot with the Real Lil and myself, we have not had an episode in a while, but it is finally time for another episode of In the Huddle. I am Kenny C. Alongside me, per usual, is the Real Lil. We got Cam in here and a special guest on today's show, Will, from the On the Board Sports Podcast. What's going on, gentlemen?
Oh, man, there's a lot of things going on in the world of sports, especially in New York in particular. The Jets made some moves that we're going to get right into. The Knicks made some moves. And you know what? This may surprise a lot of folks, but I'm in favor of these moves. I like these moves from both teams, and I'm going to tell you why in a few seconds.
Hey, man, this is your boy Cam here. Another episode, the 51st, right? 51st episode?
Yep. 51st.
Yes, so I just want to say, I'm happy to be back with you guys. I have a lot to say today, man. I'm not holding my tongue. And Lil, I'm going to make you regret what you say today, buddy.
Let's see. Bring the debate on. I'm ready for it.
Thank you guys again for having me on. I know, Lil, you had me on your show last week. So, again, thank you for having me on. A lot to talk about, obviously. And, let's get right into it, man.
Sure. Thank you for coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So we might as well get to our first topic that we have here on the agenda. As I briefly mentioned in the intro, the Jets made some moves yesterday by trading Jamal Adams to the Seattle Seahawks, a deal that included 2 first-round picks. Who is the real winner of this trade?
Seattle.
Seattle
won that.
Go ahead,
let's hear it, Cam. Let's hear it.
I'm going to be honest with you. One thing about Seattle does not care about first-rounders. So, by Pete Carroll giving up 2 picks for Adams, it didn't bother him whatsoever. When's the last time a good first round pick ended up being productive for Seattle? But other than that, I'm just happy that Adams is in a new scenery, in a new environment. I do believe that, the New York Jets organization is full of crap. It's been like this for the past 20 plus years, go to the next step. I'm just unfortunate that they couldn't come to an agreement to a contract. He is by far one of the best safeties in the National Football League. You feel me? So, he's a good run stopper, he's a great leader. I just felt like, the organization as a whole let him down.
And I'm gonna jump right in here.
I'm gonna
jump right in here and hop on the Cam train because I agree, man. Overall, look. I sat here for a while thinking about both sides, who won this and that. And ultimately, it came down to this for me. So Seattle's getting a guy that can pretty much play 3 to 4 positions. He's probably one of the most versatile players in the league. You look at the stats, it's undeniable. The most sacks, 11, most hits, 11, most hurries, 27, total pressures, 49 among all NFL defensive backs since 2017. So the way I look at it is, all right, yes, there's a lot of tension, but why the hell would the Jets go ahead and get rid of a guy who's pretty much the backbone of that entire defense rather than say, all right, let's try to work out these differences, end up paying the man because he's obviously going to get paid at some point. There was some sort of gentleman's agreement between Seattle and Adams, obviously, because they're going to make the trade. He's not just going to leave after a year. So obviously they're going to re-sign him, but for a good chunk of change. So why not build around the man? Now, to add another point in here, you look at the New York Jets and their first-round picks from 2012 to 2017, what the hell has amounted to – what has any of their picks amounted to for them? You look at Quentin Coples. What happened to him? Waived after 4 years. D. Molina, the cornerback, released after 4 years. Sheldon Richardson, traded after 4 years. So it seems like the Jets don't have the best resume with first-round picks. And that's why I say Seattle run the trade, because until the Jets can actually show me that a first-round pick is going to pan out for them, then I'll say, all right, maybe the Jets won the trade because they got a couple of first-round picks in the future.
I got to respectfully disagree with both of y'all brothers here. Y'all not looking at the bigger picture. Y'all thinking short-term, it hurts. Jamal Adams, he's the best safety in the NFL. Why did we lose some great talent like that? But if you look at the bigger picture here, think about it. Jamal Adams made it clear that he wanted out. There was nothing you could have said to really try to sway him to want to come back. He wanted out. He was finding every excuse in the book to say, listen, get me out of here. I don't want to be here. I have been in situations in my life with schools and other, professions where I was like, I don't want to be here. No matter what somebody tell me, I'm going to leave. I'm going to find something else. And I had that in my mind, and nobody was going to get that out. So if you're the Jets, your best job is to get the best offer on the table because you're going to lose that gate of talent. So you want to get the best in return. 2 first-round picks? You mean to tell me the Jets don't control the draft? I mean, that's assets right there. You could build from that. You just have to do it smartly. Now, I know the point that you brought up, Kenny C, is a valid point. But to my estimation, last year, I was okay with the Jets draft pick. I thought they started to learn from their mistakes a little bit. So they can use that and build the momentum, build a team around. If you're Seattle, you're already a NFC contending team in the NFC. You already made it to the playoffs. Obviously, you want to compete with the 49ers. But by you giving up all that for Jamal Adams, you're telling me that Jamal Adams takes you from being a middle-of-the-pack NFC team, making the playoffs, to a Super Bowl contending team. So if they don't make the Super Bowl, then it's a loss and a clear win for the Jets.
I personally, listen, with everything that's gone on with the New York Jets so far this whole offseason, between Woody Johnson's comments, even though that didn't happen with the Jets, and now with the whole Jamal Adams saga basically finished and done with at this point in time, the Jets here are the big winners here out of this deal. First off, to Kenny, you mentioned the first-round draft picks. Mm-hmm. From Darrelle Revis getting traded, wound up being Sheldon Richardson for a first-round draft pick. And then from years ago, with John Abraham leaving to go to the Atlanta Falcons, and that wound up being a late first-round draft pick, who would that become, guys? Nick Mangold. Nick Mangold's going to be a Ring of Honor Jet, in the foreseeable future just because of his career here. So I'm a firm believer in Joe Douglas and what he's trying to do and what he's trying to pan out with the Jets here for sure, 100%. But also, too, look at all the comments that this guy, Jamal Adams, has put out there. Yes, he's a fan favorite. I'm a Jets season ticket holder. I personally love the guy being here and him trying to change the culture. But when you're trying to go out there and tweet saying, I'm going to stay here throughout the thick and through the thin, and then they get Adam Gase. Nobody really wanted Adam Gase here. I personally wanted him here just for a change of scenery after seeing so many defensive first-minded head coaches. Right. He's an offensive-minded guy first, which is, again, great. But ultimately, at the end of the day, with Jamal, you go out, you tweet one thing, you do one thing with the fans, and now you're saying, oh, pay me, pay me, pay me. And then you go out in the media and you talk about what's going on behind closed doors over here. Of course, you're going to get traded and moved. And Trader Joe wound up finding a way to get the best possible value for Jamal Adams. There's nothing to be said. We know what Jamal Adams brings to the table here, and we know that the Legion of Boom might be coming back into play here. But again, anything is possible come here on out, from here on out to the end of the season. So anything can happen.
Now,
go ahead, Kenny.
I also like Cam's point before of, you look at the Legion of Boom, they were prided off 3rd and 4th round picks, even later than that. And they were able to build a great defense. So that's not to say they necessarily need those first-round picks to build a great defense, because now you took a guy that was the core of the Jets defense that they could have built around. Obviously, you made some great points, Will, with,
that's a good point.
At the end, he was a backstabber with all the social media bullcrap. But you took a guy that now can become the core of Seattle's defense, and you can build around him there. Because as we all can remember from last season, Russell Wilson had to be the guy that put the team on his back in the 4th quarter almost every damn game because the defense couldn't do anything. So I think that this is a huge acquisition for Seattle, and they don't necessarily need those first-round picks to build the future.
But you also got to think about it like this. The Jets have a lot of concerns that they have to fulfill. They have holes on the offensive line still. Even though they try to, beef that up during the draft, they still got to fix the offensive line in totality. You still got to fix the wide receiving core, give Sam Darnold more weapons to throw to. So with getting all these picks, you can address those issues in the future drafts coming up, because now you have the house money. You have the assets. So Jamal Adams, you didn't want to be here? Fine. We'll trade you, get the best possible value in return for you, and build our wide receiving core and our offensive line so we can keep moving from there.
But now you just now you just created a gaping crater at the safety position. I mean, they got Bradley McDougald in return, but Bradley McDougald is no Jamal Adams, the guy that can play 3 to 4 positions.
It's obviously you're not gonna find another Jamal Adams. I mean, the Jets may have to come to terms with that. But if you can find a guy later in the draft that can play and make plays, and you build the rest of that team up, then I think it makes up for it if they use their assets correctly. For example, with the Raiders, they didn't use their assets, to be honest with you, at the best that they could have when they traded Khalil Mack. They had all the assets, they controlled the draft, and they made some questionable picks. And I was like, really, bro? You really going to do that? They had a chance to build that team back up with all them assets. So the Jets have the assets. Look at the Dolphins having all the assets in this year's draft. They probably could be, who knows how Tua looks. They could be a contender coming to the playoffs and winning that division. Who knows? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they can within the next couple of years. So don't rush the process, brother.
And that's why I say, I agree with you. There definitely is a process. And that's why I'm saying right now for me, I would go with Seattle because I don't know how the Jets are going to use those picks. If the Jets go ahead and draft stupidly, then, I mean, you got to come back on your decision.
But I would say this. So if the Seahawks don't make it to the Super Bowl, then the Seahawks don't win the draft either, because they were a playoff team last year. They went to, I believe they lost in the wild card round, or the divisional round rather.
Divisional to Green Bay.
So you're talking about, even if they go to the NFC Championship game next year, you're talking about, all right, Jamal Adams make you another round better in the playoffs. To be honest with you, this move by acquiring Jamal Adams for all them assets is a Super Bowl move right there. That's telling me you believe he makes your team better to compete in the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl.
The stats don't lie. Like he definitely is going to be a huge boost. Now I agree with you. Will it make them Super Bowl champions? I don't know, because the NFC is pretty damn competitive.
So how do they do the trade if they don't make it to the Super Bowl and they gave up their asset?
Two things. Number one, when you look at the Jets right now, they drafted Ashton Davis in the 3rd round. They still have Marcus May. They got Bradley McDougald at their safety positions right now. Realistically, 4 years ago, when they had realistically nobody there, and you had an Adrian Guerrero-Rivas, you had Marcus Gilchrist, you had Calvin Pryor, and you had Buster Screen in that secondary. That was one of the worst secondaries in the league. And for them to get Jamal Adams at number 6 overall, a great move, a 2-time Pro Bowler in 3 years, it made too much sense. And also, for those people out there that keep on talking about, oh, they should have drafted Patrick Mahomes and that, I just mentioned it just now. They had one of the worst secondaries in the league. You don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to go out there, or even Deshaun Watson for that matter, and actually save the franchise. So who knows what's going to happen here from here on out. But for everybody that says, oh, 2020 is the best hindsight possible, I would have taken Jamal Adams at number 6 overall any day of the week, just because of what happened back in that 2016 season. And also, you know what, you got to look at it like this too. Sometimes the unsung heroes are the best heroes to go out and build your team around. And if Marcus May is an unsung hero, if Ashton Davis can come out, it's his rookie year. You still have Bradley McDougald coming in there. He's a proven vet. Go out there and just do it. The Jets will be fine.
Cam and everybody else, I want to know your thoughts on Le'Veon Bell and Jamal Adams going back and forth.
We gotta hit a Jets fan too on his take on that.
I think it was very petty. It was really petty on both sides. But I like how the way Le'Veon handled the situation. He was like a bigger person. Instead of, bashing, Jamal Adams for going to Seattle, he just wished him nothing but the best. So at the end of the day, I just like his character.
He also threw some shade a little bit, but I mean, honestly, like Will said before, like if I'm Le'Veon Bell, this guy has been Jamal Adams. He's been posting memes and stuff on his Twitter all day, like trying to really rag on the Jets. And then he's like, oh, well, I thank all the Jet fans. Listen, man, at this point, if I'm a Jet fan, see you later. Like, I don't care about you anymore.
Let him go. And here's the thing with Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell came here because he got paid the most money on the market. They gave him $12 million a year for 5 years. This is year number 2 now in his contract, and it looks as if he's a leader. And also, with everybody talking about Le'Veon Bell, oh, well, he didn't produce last year. Well, when you don't have Sam Darnold out there for the first 4 games, 5 games of the season, whatever it is, all the defense is going to be on you.
And you don't have a line.
You go out there and do it.
You don't even have an O-line.
That too, so everything's going to be, addressed at that point in time. And, Joe Douglas did that. But to get back to Bell's comments to, Jamal Adams, here's what it comes down to, okay? Bell came over here to play with the Jets. He signed a lot of money, but he saw some glimpses of potential here with this team, with Sam and with everybody, and that included Jamal. And Jamal, you know, at the end of the day, because the head coach didn't want to be here, and also the head coach also said, too, that he kind of didn't want Le'Veon Bell, you know, to paraphrase from that instance as well. But look, Le'Veon is showing some character here and putting his neck on the line and trying to become a leader here for the Jets. So kudos to Le'Veon for doing that.
Yeah, definitely kudos to Le'Veon, because when you think about it, Le'Veon Bell, he's thinking about the team. You have a lot of guys that are selfish. Remember, this is a team sport. Football, you're going to war with your brothers. So if a guy say, I don't want to be here, of course you're going to feel a type of way. But Le'Veon Bell's like, all right, see you week 14. You don't want to be here?
Oh, man.
All right, bring it on.
I'm actually, you know, for Jet fans, if I'm a Jet fan, I want, in that week 14 matchup, I want to see Le'Veon Bell hit the hole like Bo Jackson did against Brian Bosworth and fuck this man over. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yo, Jamal Adams with that video of him dancing when he got traded, that's all jokes right there. Literally, that was funny. I'm not gonna lie. I was laughing right there. Definitely watch that video if you haven't on his Instagram.
Talent there as opposed to Thibs. But again, this is going to be a win now situation right now with Thibodeau. And I'm expecting this young core to be gone, a la like the Lakers and LeBron James did at the end of last year, going into last off season. So